to if you're an entrepreneur, it's the same dynamic for an entrepreneur, it's the same dynamic for me. The way you make yourself necessary and others dependent on you is to be the only person who can do this job. You are so unique. There's only one Elon Musk, there's only one Steve Jobs, right? They're irreplaceable. They're not afraid to be themselves, have their own style. And so, that's what secures their position. So if I wrote books like everybody else, I wouldn't have that position of power. But because I'm the only one, for better or for worse, who can write books the way I do, I have secured a position in the publishing world. So it's a law that applies everywhere.
My first lesson, which is, encrypted in my DNA now, was the idea of working for, pay. My first job was in high school. My first day, it was owned by a woman, I'll never forget it. She says, look, when people ask you for a sampler, here's a little wooden spoon, give them a little sample. When people do samples, they take their gum out of their mouth and they throw it on the floor. So all day long, gum was piling up on the floor. So the first day's over, and she said, you did a great job, but now you've got to finish up and you've got to take all the gum off the floor. Now, at that moment, I said to her, look, you hired me as a scooper, not a scraper. And she said, no, I hired you as an employee. You do whatever I say. I own this store. And I said, I don't think so. If you want to hire somebody to take gum off the floor, that's a different job. She said, how about this? You're fired. And I went, whoa. And I realized right then, in life, there's two types of people. There's the people that own the store, and there's the people that scrape the shit off the floor.
I always felt like I wanted to do something more every day. I had that in me since I was a little kid. Whether it was selling lemonade on the corner, I see kids, selling lemonade today, and I'm like, they may be running a big company someday. I had that initiative to want to work. I had the initiative to want to create and design since I was a little kid. But I think that it's just that having that fire in your belly. And if you have that fire in your belly and that desire to want to do something more, you can be a great entrepreneur.
What I hear people talk about that stops them often is a lack of confidence or a lack of or concern. They don't want to put in the time that it's going to take. So they'll say, well, I really wish I could do this, but they want someone else to do the work for them. That's not what I would tell people to do. I would say, you're probably not an entrepreneur. But I think anybody starting out, whether they want to be an entrepreneur or not, I think you really just have to figure out what it is you love, and then how can you do it? Because if you're doing what you love, you'll do well at it. And my whole philosophy is you can make anything happen.
I'm so competitive, the answer is no. But there's times, to be honest, where I'll say, do I really want to do this? Because my time's so much more valuable. Look, when I got fired and started that first company, I was sleeping on the floor. There were 6 guys in a 3-bedroom apartment. I didn't have my own room. I didn't even have towels. It was just nasty. And there was no place to go but up. Now it's a little bit different, but I'm so competitive. And to me, business is the ultimate sport, which is what I named my book, How to Win the Sport of Business. And that drives me, because whether I'm playing pickup, whether I'm playing kickball with my kids, or it's a company, I want to kick your ass.
I really believe that you absolutely should be doing what you love. I think you'll do it better than you'll do anything else. If you're in a career just to make ends meet, I completely understand that. That might be a choice you need to make. So I'm not saying your job is necessarily going to be something you love. And I think that you'll end up where you're meant to end up. If you really are pursuing your truth, exploring the world, there is going to be something you love, for sure. I've met a lot of people who say, well, I haven't found what I love yet. Keep exploring, you'll find what you love, and then do it. Do it every day if you can. Do it for your living if you can, of course. That's the pursuit of life, I think, and that's not selfish. I think that's just loving yourself.
And broadcast.com, I got a little bit nicer, right, as things. But then once I got to the Mavs and some of these other companies, and Todd reminded me, and really told me, just nice works. And so when you find yourself going to work, when you're finding yourself dealing with customers, when you're finding yourself making decisions, we all get that agita, right? That feeling in our stomach, that tenseness, that stress at various points in times that we all have to go through. But sometimes you just need to calm the down, right? Take a deep breath and be nice. Because you'll find out that people will do much more. If you reduce the stress of people and you're nice, you're gonna have such a huge advantage. No matter what your technology is, no matter how it compares, even if it's a download for an app, people will still have to deal with you. Your culture will come through. Being nice, being supportive, reducing stress, that all comes through even in an app. Everybody's got ideas, but you've got to take that step. Like, you've thought about this show for a long time, but it's hard to take that step. In my case, I had to get fired in order to force myself to get there. Second, sales cures all, right? There's never been a company to exist that didn't have revenue. And so when you're getting started, the first thing to focus on is not raising money. That's the biggest mistake people make. 99.99% of businesses don't have to raise money, but you have to have customers. And so what I always suggest is, whatever your service is, if you're mowing yards, if you're building widgets, whatever it is, go find customers. Because if you can find somebody who really likes what you're doing, they're gonna want the product, they'll support you. The third thing is, you've got to realize that whatever you're doing, you're competing with somebody. What is it that gives you an advantage over your competition? And then the fourth thing is, what's your core competency? What are you good at? Whatever you're good at, try to be great at it. And if you're great at it, good things will happen. And then probably the fifth thing is, your customers own you. You don't own your business, your customers do.
In America, if you can acquire $5 million of wealth and have it sitting in a bank, you can live off that for the rest of your life. It's a great thing to have happen. But in acquiring it, if we're talking numbers now, you're just in the middle of the game at your first $5 million. You don't want to stop there. What it lets you do is take capital to invest in a whole lot of other ventures. And what I've learned is, goes back to what you just said, you need a little luck. So if you're going to have a portfolio, if you're going to be an investor like I am, you need a lot of companies, because the ones you think are going to be your best winners never are. What will happen if you're successful and you won't see it coming? You'll wake up one day and say, oh my goodness, I'm wealthy beyond my wildest dreams. And the way it manifests itself to you later in life is it gives you freedom to do whatever you want. My number one message to entrepreneurs, and I teach today, is never pursue entrepreneurship for the greed of money. It has nothing to do with it at all. The whole reason to be an entrepreneur is the pursuit of freedom. I'm here because I want to be here. I don't have to be here. I don't even have to ever listen to a phone call again if I don't want to. That's not what I want to do. I enjoy spending my time doing the things that I want to do. When people say you don't deserve that, I say bullshit. I deserve everything because I started with this. Everything I have, I created myself, and I deserve what I have. Do not be embarrassed about success. Wear it, own it. It's yours and you deserve it.
Subscribe to my channel. You know what happens? You'll be dead to me.